This week's Haftarah, Shemini, meaning eighth, and what we'll be looking at today, as we get into the Haftarah, of course, is the ark being carried up to Yerushalayim. And it comes to us, our Haftarah, from Shemuel Bet, chapter 6, verse 1, extending through chapter 7, verse 17. 2 Samuel, chapter 6, verse 1, extending through chapter 7, verse 17. But let's go to the Torah for our base, and then we'll thread through into the Haftarah. Our Torah, Shemini, meaning eighth, beginning in Vayikra, Leviticus chapter 9. And I give you a brief overview before we go on any further, so we can see the parallelisms of how the themes go through the word of Yahweh. The priestly ministry begins in Vayikra chapter 9. And it came to pass on the 8th, Shemini, that's where we get the title of our parashio this week. In chapter 10 of Vayikra, what do we see? We see the infamous profane fire of Nadab and Abihu. Many of you have heard about it, read about it, time and time again. What really happened? Well, we did an in-depth study in the Torah as we've gone through the Torah over the years, so I won't get into it deeply today, but we will see how this theme, comes through into our present reading in the Haftarah. The profane fire. What did they do? They brought forth fire. Profane fire in the face of Yahweh. That's what they did. Foreign worship practices. How will we approach Yahweh? Will we approach Him like we see in Vayikra 10? Or will we approach Him according to His teaching and instructions, His Torah? In Vayikra chapter 11 we're given how to eat. What is food and what's not? What is permitted and what is forbidden? And that theme will come through because we're going to be talking about meat. What is meat that we are allowed to consume? Well, of course, the base text is Vayikra 11, but there is much more instruction given throughout the Tanakh, and there is instruction given in the Brit Hadashah. We will be looking at these things. Then, of course, within this week's Torah portion is what's called the belly of the Torah. In Leviticus, Vayikra, chapter 11, verse 42, we see whatever crawls on its belly, and right there, within that word, in the Hebrew, the center letter of that word is the center of the Torah. It's called the belly of the Torah. It's the middle of the Torah. The third letter of that word that we have for belly in the Hebrew, the third letter is a vav, and that is the very center of the Torah. It's the belly of the Torah. What you bring near your nefesh, what you bring near your soul in worship, is all about the reality of your faith. That's the very belly of it. The belly, the soul is near the belly, and it's right here. Whatever crawls on its belly. The sages call this the belly of the Torah, this week's portion. Much to learn, much to see as we go through the scriptures today. Nadab and Abihu. They took unauthorized fire before Yahweh. The sin of presumption. The sin of presumption, that's the problem with the mishpocha. The sin of presumption. And it was what? In regards to worship. They presumed how to approach Yahweh in worship. The sin of presumption, instead of heeding the mitzvah, instead of listening to Yahweh's teaching and instruction, they presumed how to come forward to Yahweh. Well, in my heart, no, Yahweh's mitzvah. Because if you go in my heart, we know that the heart is deceitfully wicked above all things. Judgment will come. We are under Yahweh's grace, which means His withholding of judgment. But there will come a time, Yaakov's trouble, when that judgment will go forth from the Beit HaMikdash to the nations. Yehezkel chapter 9 tells us that. We're a people who follow a Torah of distinctions. Isn't that what the Torah does? It distinguishes us from the nations. The Torah is a Torah of distinctions, and Israel is to be a people of distinctions. If we can't distinguish the seventh day of the week from the rest of the common days, then how are we supposed to be a people of distinctions? That is what the body of Israel is to be. So in the Haftarah, let's turn to Shmuel Bet, 2 Samuel chapter 6 verse 1, and we'll see judgment. We'll see the judgment of Uzzah involving the ark, similar to Leviticus chapter 10. A judgment involving the ark in the Haftarah. Now the setting of the Haftarah, it is after David's war with the Philistines. He had just gone down and warred with the Philistines, and we know that David was a man of war, a man that would get bloodied in battle. A man that was not afraid to dance before Yahweh, but a man who was not afraid to take up the sword either. He was a king. He was a prophet. He was a leader. But he was also one that came and ate with the common people. He was a true leader. Melech David. He had had war with the Philistines, and now after that battle where he conquered the Philistines, he brings up the ark to Jerusalem. Israel is victorious. There is celebration in the air, and it is time to bring up the ark to Jerusalem. And why? Because the hopes are that the ark will bring the two houses back into unification. That the ark is what will bring David's hopes restore the two kingdoms back into one. The kingdoms had been divided. So much has happened. And we see now, will this bring back unification? Isn't that our hope? Isn't that the hope of the prophet Yirmiyahu in chapter 31? That the Torah would be written on your hearts like unto the ark, where the tablets were contained. When everyone within Israel, both Jewish Israel and Ephraim Israel, gets that message, would that bring restoration? The ark is what brings restoration to the kingdom. Once you catch that vision, this is the hope of David. As that ark is brought up to Jerusalem, will the two houses, will they come back? Will there be reunification? There is much to see. There is much to see. So let us go forth into the Haftarah. Let us begin now in chapter 6, verse 1. Again, David gathered together all the chosen men of Israel, 30,000. And David arose and went with all the people that were with him from Baal of Yehudah to bring up there the ark of Elohim, whose name is called by the name of Yahweh Sabaoth, that dwells between the cherubim. And they set the ark of Elohim upon the new cart and brought it out of the Bait of Abinadab, that was in Givat. And Uzzah and Achol, the sons of Abinadab, drove the new cart. And they brought it out of the Bait of Abinadab, that was at Gavit, accompanying the ark of Elohim, and Achol went before the ark. And David and all the house of Israel played and danced before Yahweh, and all kinds of instruments made of fir and wood, even on harps, and on the psalteries, and on timbrels, and on cornets, and on cymbals. Here we see the beginning of the Haftarah. We know that David is ruling over Israel. The kingdom hasn't been divided. That would be later on. But is there unity? No, there isn't unity. Later on, these problems that David was dealing with would bring forth the split. There hasn't been the split of the kingdom yet, literally going up to 10 Israel, going up north. But there isn't unity. There isn't unity between the kingdom. And David's hope is that this will bring unity between the two houses, between all 12 of the tribes. But there isn't unity. There's revolts, there's all kinds of troubles going on, and later we'll see revolts within the very family of David. There is so much that happens. But as these opening verses see, we can glean more. Again, in the Hebrew, chapter 6, verse 1 is Va Yosef, is what it says in the Hebrew. Va Yosef. Isn't it Moshiach ben Yosef that is going to bring back the restoration? And this is how the Haftarah opens in the Hebrew.